Wood chip wallpaper is probably the hardest wallpaper to remove. In this video we're going to remove some wood chip that has been painted. The wood chip paper in this video has probably been on the walls in this flat for over 40 years. If you're wondering why it's called wood chip, it's because it's made from paper and chips of wood which give it a distinct pattern. Some people do use steam strippers when removing wallpaper, but I don't like them as they create a lot of heat, use lots of electricity and can also damage the plaster if left in one place for too long. Before you start work, it's a good idea to put down some good quality polythene backed dust sheets, as this will prevent the solution from getting onto the floor. If you have carpets down, you need to be extra careful or pull the carpets back from the area where you are stripping. To start with, you need to penetrate the paint and the paper so that we can get some liquid to penetrate the paper and start attacking the adhesive, holding it to the wall. You can use a spiked roller for this, or as in this video you can use a Zinsser paper tiger, which is an incredibly effective way of perforating the wallpaper. The paper tiger makes thousands of tiny holes that allow the liquid to penetrate through the paper. You will also need a solution of water and Zinsser DIF, although you can use water and washing up liquid or similar detergent, but Zinsser DIF normally works much better and is not that expensive. You will now need a pair of protective gloves and safety glasses or goggles. I'm now mixing the Zinsser DIF according to the instructions in a garden sprayer. This will allow me to spray the solution onto the wallpaper. I'm using warm water from the shower, as warm water helps to soften the paper much better than cold water does. I'm now using the garden sprayer to spray the solution onto the paper. Now for the important bit. If you can do, you should give the wood chip at least 3 sprays with the Zinsser DIF with 15 minutes intervals in between, but you need to do this the day before you start stripping. That will give it plenty of time for it to soak in and it will make your job a lot easier. It's important when you do the scraping that you keep the scraper at the correct angle to prevent it from digging into the plaster, but if you do gouge the plaster, don't worry about it too much, as some damage is inevitable and can be easily filled afterwards. The best way to remove wood chip is to keep it wet. Once you have a dry section, it becomes much more difficult, almost impossible to scrape off. If you're scraping and you find a dry part, don't waste any time or energy trying to remove it. Just leave it and continue scraping the wet bits. Once the wet bits have been removed, you can then soak all the dry bits again. It really is important to keep the paper wet and also make sure there are enough holes in it for the solution to get through to the actual adhesive. I'm not going to lie to you and say this is an easy job, because it isn't. It is a difficult job and it is very time consuming. Once you've finished, you will end up with a wall that looks something like this. You can then wash that down with some sugar soap solution before you either paper it again or paint it. I hope this video has helped, and if it has and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel.